family joy and food and, giving away, spreading a love. That's a Christmas to me.
This is really nice for me.
Having community-based policing is extremely important in today's environment.
Thank you. Whole council is serving our community. Guide them with your wisdom and strengthen them.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Mayor. Always out there with event setup, tear down, Camp Chill, and the Valentine's Day soiree, as well as the LCC cleanup to make it a more beautiful place to spend time. Other trip, and this one's a little more recent, was to Ventura for a beach cleanup. This was just last year, again, helping them develop into adulthood. And then
Impact has been like a family to me, with the short members, mayor, vice mayor, for allowing this to happen. Impact is...
In the program, I've gained valuable skills, including leadership, effective communication, for the past 2 years, and I've had the privilege of working alongside others in support of families, children, and individuals in our community.
thank you guys so much. So, kind of our year in review really quickly through some of our statistics of the program. So from June 2024 till the end of May 2025, we had 83 active impact members that served a total of 4,073 hours. And this was over 50 events and volunteer opportunities. If you do the math on the over 4,000 hours, that's just over 160 full days of service, which is just kind of a fun little stat to throw in. And all of their hard work earned them 34 scholarships, totaling over $27,000 to help support them in their post-high school plans. And obviously behind each of these numbers is a teen and a group of teens that gain leadership skills and were able to better support their community. And then what's next for Impact? They have a very busy summer ahead. We have over 100 hours available for them to make a difference at City of Lancaster events and with partnering with other organizations. Some new programming that we've pushed out and are planning on pushing out is we've already launched the Cool Summer Nights Planning Committee. This is where the teens meet twice a week here at City Hall and actually plan components of Cool Summer Nights that they're themselves going to be in charge of at those events. So kind of learning those hands-on skills and event planning skills and seeing them through. And then we're also going to have the Impact Day of Service and Recognition towards the end of summer, with the goal being to rotate through service projects for donations and then end in a luncheon where families can come and support their teens' accomplishments for the calendar year. And it also gives us a really great opportunity to say thank you, goodbye, and good luck to our graduated seniors who age out of the program at that point. So that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, we're up here to answer them for you.
So, well, I've got to ask, you went and cleaned up Ventura's beach? Never mind. just curious. So I take it these three are how would you describe them?
I would say these three are, they're go-getters. They're very active in Impact. Up here, if I'm not mistaken, we have one senior who just graduated. And then as a group, they're just, in the few months that I've been here in the role, I've seen a lot of them and seen them make a large impact. So that's why they were invited to speak up here today.
Thank you. Who's the senior? You're the senior. Okay, so she gets a scholarship. We know that. The other two, I'll have to look at the bank account and see how much I have in there. But yeah, I think I'll do all three of them. Okay? Good.
Thank you.
But I just can't help but say it. They obviously think very highly of you because they had you present. You obviously were a little nervous about presenting to the council, right? So I want to give you 2 tricks. You want them? You do that, and then you're not worried about it. And then you want to do the countdown. You know, it's scary when, whenever I have to speak, I'm scared. I mean, I'm 73, I'm still scared. You're nervous, you don't know if they're going to reject you or not. That's a normal reaction. So I do a countdown. It's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bang, I'm up. And I'm excited and I'm engaged, right? If I don't do the countdown, I don't, because I start procrastinating. I don't want to do it. You guys are scary people, right? That's how that works. So next time, you might want to try that. Out in the hallway, you do that. But the other part, they have to see that you're excited. You all had good presentations. The excitement level could be greater. And the reason why it's not there is because it's frightening. You're kind of half in, you're kind of half out. The one thing I guarantee you, if I'm in, I'm in. If I'm not, I'm not. But it's never halfway, is it? Was that helpful? Because you guys are obviously going to accomplish something with your life. I wish I was around to see it, all right?
Could you show them how to do both of them together?
No. I just love Lancaster's youth. I just do. I can't help but talk when I see them. Thank you. Okay. And Sonia, you'll handle the paperwork?
Yes, sir.
Good. Oh, yeah, we need the pictures.
Oh, do you want a picture, Mayor? Okay. We're going to do a picture. Impact program, come on up, everybody, please.
Excellent. Okay, I think I can see everybody, yeah. Okay, folks. All right. 1, 2, 3. And just another one for safety. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
I hope somebody got a picture of this.
You did.
Charlize.
All right, let's.
Watson.
Everybody wants my seat. Juneteenth committee presentation.
Hello again. This afternoon, I want to say tonight. This afternoon, we have the Juneteenth committee members. There's 3 of them here. And Christina Smith, our park supervisor. So if you guys could come on up. Christina is our liaison to the community-led planning committee. And so she'll do an introduction, and then the Juneteenth committee members, please feel free to join Christina at the podium. And Christina will introduce our 3 of our committee members.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. The Parks Department is honored to have worked with the Community-Led Planning Committee to facilitate the 4th annual Juneteenth community celebration. With us today, we have community members who have been serving in the planning subcommittees, and they will be providing you with an overview of this year's event. So without further ado, let me introduce who's behind me. We have Josh Patterson, who is a sub-chair of one of our subcommittees, as well as Fawn, who is another member who is serving on a subcommittee. And finally, we have YB, and he's going to come up and speak to you all as well to let you all know how the event is going to go this year. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you again for allowing us to come here and present to you. June 19th, 1865, federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas to take control of the state and ensure that all slaves were freed. That day was later known as Juneteenth and also Freedom Day. 4 years ago, we hoped for an event that allowed us to gather in the spirit of community, a spirit of togetherness, and a spirit of Black people's strengths in overcoming adversity and celebrating the freedom that our ancestors paid for in their blood, sweat, and tears. After being freed, celebrations became a way of formerly enslaved people to reconnect with family members that they were separated from. Today's celebrations continue as a way to unite the community, fellowship with family, share information, and to celebrate one's heritage. I am proud and grateful that for 4 years now, with the city's support, we are working towards establishing the celebration in Lancaster as a tradition, and the city has provided a space to honor Black history and being one of American history.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so my name is Brandon Coleman. I am creatively known as YB Terrion. I've been a part of the Lancaster Planning Committee for 4 years now, and we're super excited to have you guys out there if you guys are available to come out. I'll be talking about the vendors and the entertainment. So this year we have 77 vendors, which range from barbecue, tacos, we have some popcorn out there, we have lemonade, we also have some nonprofit organizations coming out there. We also have, I believe, some military, Department of Mental Health. So we have a lot of vendors out there. We also have a few performances that are going on this year. This year, I'm very excited to say that we have our very first tap dancer. I've never seen a tap dancer in person, so I'm excited to see this. We also have a family of dancers called the Storm Family. It's a family of 12 kids coming together to perform. We have 40 and up double dutch. We have a celebrity host this year, Slink Johnson. You may have seen him in Space Jam 2. He's also worked with Kevin Hart, and he's also on Netflix as well, so he'll be co-hosting this year. And then our headliner, Stephen G, will be out here. He's an R&B singer from Los Angeles, so he'll be out here. And I'm very proud to say I'll be DJing this year, so y'all come on out and shake your tail feather. But no, we have a lot of things planned for you guys, and hopefully you guys will be out there to see it. Thank you.
Good afternoon, members of the Lancaster City Council and distinguished guests. My name is Joshua Patterson, and I am a third-year volunteer in support of the City of Lancaster's Juneteenth celebration. It's an honor to address you today as our preparation for the 2025 Juneteenth celebration comes to an end. Juneteenth, a federal holiday as of June 17, 2021, holds deep significance for so many across our nation, commemorating the end of slavery and celebrating the resilience, strength, and contributions of African Americans throughout history. Your support in making this event a reality speaks to the values of unity, inclusivity, and progress that we hold dear as a community. By coming together to mark this day, we not only honor our past, but also build a future rooted in equality and shared respect. On June 15th, the fruits of our committee's labors will be on display from 12 to 5 p.m. at Sergeant Steve Owen Memorial Park. In addition to local youth and professional stage entertainment, we will also have free of charge activities and games such as Kids Crafts Corner, lawn games, professional art painting lessons, roller skating, and a video gaming trunk. We will also have at our Arts and History tent a fashion show, braiding and hairstyling demonstrations, the HBCU experience, line dancing tutorials, poetry and spoken word, a timeline of Black accomplishments and history, along with a youth art contest where the youth will be receiving awards for their art submissions. The Juneteenth Committee invites you to join the community as we are eager to share this significant day with you. Your presence will be a powerful statement to all those who attend, showing that Lancaster is a city that values diversity and history and is committed to fostering a community where every individual's story is recognized and celebrated. For their commitment to the success and direct involvement in this momentous event, I'd like to thank our City Manager, Trelise Niebla, our Parks Department staff, Sonia Patterson, Christina Smith, Anna Guillen, and Melissa Canal, our Chief of Police, Roderick Armelin, and the Department of Mental Health. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to celebrating with you.
So what's the anticipated number of people coming?
The analytics, cell phone analytics we had last year showed that at the height of the event, we had approximately 3,000 people there. So over the time period, you've got 1,000, 2,000, but at the height, we had 3,000. And then it declined towards the end. So it's quite a bit.
For anybody who hasn't been to it, you should go. I mean, it's one of my more favorite events. People are really having a good time. It's family, the best way to say it. I hope to see you there. Okay. Sonia, do we do cell phone analytics on everything?
We do for our events. Yeah, we use a software. The city uses software that tells us how many people were there based on cell phone analytics.
Can we start publicizing that? I mean, that's pretty high tech. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a software that not only Parks uses, but community development, economic development, they use it for their data.
Does it tell us where they're from?
It does. Yeah, it has lots of great data. Where they went before and after, how much time they spent there. It's a lot of great data.
No kidding.
We use it as an economic development tool too, Mayor.
Who's talking?
Over here. City Manager.
Trelise.
We use it as an economic development tool as well. Because it can tell you where people are coming from and what businesses are going. We can compile that data to go out and get other businesses in the area that have similar demographics. Placer AI is what it's called.
Does it drop their email on us?
Not their email. It's all anonymous. We just know who came and where they went.
That is really cool. I really like that. All these years and nobody told me. So just why didn't you tell me? No, never mind. Thank you. Okay. Antelope Valley Foster Friends. I remember you.
I remember you. Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for having me today. My name is Kate Downing, and I'm the director of AV Foster Friends. And I'm here to thank you on behalf of our organization. If you remember, back in January, you approved a lease agreement for us to open up the first and the only foster family resource center here in the Antelope Valley. It's a building formerly known as Mini MOA. I'm sure many of you know that, and now will be known as like I said, the first and the only resource center for foster families to go to get practical support but also community and resources within our city. So I do have a short video today that I'd like to show you. It goes over kind of why we do what we do, and it gives you some footage of the new resource center. I especially want to thank Trelise and Sonia. They have been instrumental in making this happen. They are not just logistically making it happen, but they've really been a pleasure to work with. So do we have that video?
Every year, thousands of children in the United States enter the foster care system. They come from all walks of life, and they have one thing in common: they need a safe and stable home. The foster families who care for these children also have one thing in common: they need support. Nationally, there are over 390,000 children in foster care. In California, there are over 60,000 children in foster care. In Los Angeles County, there are over 30,000 children in foster care. In the Antelope Valley, there are over 1,500 children in foster care. Sadly, in the Antelope Valley, 58% of these foster families will quit after 1 year. The reason they give on exit surveys are lack of support and lack of training. Behind these statistics are foster parents who need our help. They need practical support, they need tangible encouragement, and above all, they need committed support from their community to remind them of hope and truth when they feel like giving up. In response to these challenges, AV Foster Friends has emerged as a beacon of hope, established to support, encourage, and bring hope to foster families. Addressing the critical need for resources, AV Foster Friends has opened the Antelope Valley's first and only foster family resource center. Located in downtown Lancaster, just off the boulevard, this center serves as a vital hub for foster families, providing new clothes, shoes, hygiene items, and comfort items to help ease the transition for children who are often placed in care with little more than the clothes on their backs. The center's mission aligns with the belief that every child deserves a place to call home, a place to belong, a place to feel loved, and necessities of their own. It provides practical support and honest encouragement to foster parents, empowering them to continue their invaluable work. Foster Friends understands the ongoing challenges that foster families face, which is why they provide free respite care, allowing parents a much-needed break to recharge, a monthly support group, and family days to strengthen the bonds between foster families and the community. Beyond these immediate supports, AV Foster Friends is dedicated to being a reliable resource throughout the entire foster care journey, offering guidance and support every step of the way. Our hope is that every child in foster care would walk through our doors to not only receive necessities and comfort items, but to be reminded that there is hope for a bright future.
So in addition to the Resource Center, like the video said, we continue to have free respite events for families. We have monthly family days, a monthly support group where we typically serve around 60 people dinner and provide meaningful training for foster families. It's probably no surprise to anyone here that foster care is really hard. And being around a community of people who understand that and can help lift you up when you feel like walking away is really valuable. We also have exciting, groundbreaking programs planned to continue to make a lasting difference in the lives of children here in our community. We're currently launching a program to provide stable, skills-based employment for local foster youth. We're hoping to support the transition from to independence from high school while also advancing community development goals. We're currently seeking funding for 3 innovative business proposals to further support local foster teens who often age out with little to no support. I do have copies of those business proposals here if anybody should be interested in some light reading. We welcome your questions, your advice for how we can all come together as a community to serve the foster youth together. So on behalf of our Board of Directors of Foster Friends, we're grateful for your continued support and your encouragement in this project. We're especially grateful for your commitment to helping us move forward, like I said, with the first and the only resource center in all of SPA1. It was long overdue, and it's so exciting to finally have that resource here. So we hope that you'll continue to stand with us as we transform the landscape of foster care here in the Antelope Valley. Foster children of today are the leaders of tomorrow. That's what we tell every single teen that walks through our doors, is that they're the leaders of tomorrow. And we truly believe that they need to be empowered to believe that. So the next generation of leaders here in the Antelope Valley literally depends on your support. And so on behalf of them, we thank you.
Any questions?
How are you funded?
Right now, we are completely community funded. So we do have one church that supports us monthly. But other than that, it is private donations. The community believes in what we're doing. We send the message to anybody who wants to be a part of our organization that foster care is an everybody problem. But that doesn't mean necessarily that everybody is called to have a child in their home. Some people are called to donate. Some people are called to serve. So we really believe that everybody has a place, and our community has risen to that challenge and have supported us. We are completely volunteer-based, so nobody in our organization is actually getting paid. And so all of the funding that does come in goes right back into our programs and serving local foster children. Which is why, sorry, go ahead.
If someone wanted to donate, how do they do it?
Yeah, they can go to our website, avfosterfriends.org. There's a donate tab right on there. We get 100% of donations. We use a platform that doesn't take any percentage away from us. And then, like I mentioned, the business proposals that we are putting forward are going to be social enterprise programs to help with funding as well. So they're not only going to empower our teens to do great things, but they are going to provide funding as well for us.
How do you, I'll just say it, how do we know that the kids in the program are local and not from downtown LA?
Yeah, you know, I think that, that's kind of a myth that a lot of children are brought up here. The Antelope Valley has very few foster homes compared to LA, so if anything, many kids from the Antelope Valley are getting shipped out. That's especially true for teens because we have no group homes here in the AV. We used to have Diamonddale. It's no longer operating as a group home. And so many of our teens, in fact, from the Antelope Valley leave and are placed outside. But what you see with that is then they age out of the system and they come right back to what they know. They were born, they were raised here, they think they have connections here. And so many children are shipped out of the AV, but you see them return, and then they add to the homeless population, the incarcerated population, the uneducated population, all of the statistics that we see foster teens falling into. So many children, I would say, I mean, I don't have the statistics, I can get them for you, but the children that are placed here in the Antelope Valley are not from outside the AV because we simply just don't have the homes to support that.
Okay. You said they're the leaders of tomorrow.
Yeah.
What do you base that on?
Well, because they're going to grow up and they're going to live in this city, and unfortunately all of us will be gone, and so we want to empower them to do great things. That they're not just going to live here. We want them to have faith and have commitment in their own skills to lead this city.
Okay, so it's aspirational.
Right.
All right, good. So what are you measuring?
So we measure participation. We measure foster families staying foster parents. As you saw in the video, it's over 50%. DCFS releases those numbers every year. It's over 50% quit after 1 year. And so we measure longevity of those foster parents. When foster parents are feeling overwhelmed and want to quit, we encourage them to take a break, right? It's good to take a break, say I'm going to pause from foster care, but not to disengage. And so we have seen 100% of our families that come through our programs continue to remain as foster families. And so we consider that success.
Okay, thank you. So what can the city do for you?
Well, we have, like I said, some social enterprise programs that we are hoping to fund. And so we would love your backing on that, maybe not funding directly, although we would take funding directly, but maybe just your encouragement to others in our city who are looking to fund some social enterprises, some opportunities that will provide kids with practical life skills in a paid environment, while also bettering our city. So we do have some programs here in town that gear towards teens, But unfortunately, what you find with the foster care community specifically is when they age out, they've been in such a system of survival. Where am I going to eat? Where am I going to sleep? What am I going to do? That they don't want to go and get a free education from AVC. That's unfortunately just not on their radar. And so there are resources, but it's only about 1% of foster children actually take those resources, actually take the free education and the free housing and all of those things. And so you're left with the other 99% that are just kind of fledging the world with no direction. And so that's really what our program is aimed at, is to take those kids, give them a paid experience, while also investing in those life skills, budgeting, finance, housing, all of those skills that maybe haven't been on their radar that we can kind of slowly put into them.
Assuming we have 1,500 foster care, that's for the whole Antelope Valley,
Right.
How many of those will age out this year on average?
Yeah, it's typically around 400. So we have a very high population of teens here in the AV, which is why our next funding opportunities are geared towards the teens. And keep in mind that 1,500 is children in traditional foster care. There's around another 700 to 1,000 children that are in what's called kinship care, which is they enter foster care and then a family member takes them. They're still considered foster children. They still age out with many of the same issues that other traditional foster care placements have. They're just in a family's home and not a foster care home. So that number is around 700 to 1,000 more than that 1,500. You think of like grandma who says, okay, I'll take these kids in, and then they age out and grandma's like, I'm done, right? Like I've done this twice now. And so you have a very large percentage of children in that frame as well.
So what programs do you have that work for the kids that are aging out?
Well, that's what we're pushing forward. We don't have any yet, which is why that's our next aim.
What's your model?
So it's a social enterprise model. We have 3 separate ones, and again, it's giving them a framework of job experience, paid job experience, right? Because if we just say, hey, come volunteer with us, they're going to say, no, I'm good. And so we're going to pay them to essentially come to work and make an income.
That's usually why people go to
right.
work.
While also being a part of our program, they will be required to take 24 classes over the course of a year. Those classes include budgeting, financial literacy, parenting. We also see a very high percentage of kids have children in foster care, and about 70% of those children will also enter foster care within 2 years. So this is really a generational pattern that we're hoping to break with our teens.
So, Sonia, do we have a budget for this?
Not currently.
So you got 3 enterprise programs.
Correct.
What's the cost of one?
$100,000 is what we're seeking for each of them. And that will fund us through the first 6 months with the belief and the financial budgeting that the remaining 6 months will be funded through the program because, like I said, it is a social enterprise where income is coming in.
If only we had sweatshops back. No, that was a joke, sorry. Put something together, would you? And then let's bring it back to the council. But I think this is wonderful.
Thank you, and thank you for your support. Like I said, this is long overdue, and if it weren't for your support at that January meeting, unanimously agreeing to that lease agreement, none of this would be happening, so thank you.
Before we fund anything, though, I want to know what their metrics are, and I want to know how they're going to track those metrics and how we're going to know if it's successful or not successful.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I leave a copy of the proposals with you today?
And I don't want you to put any icing on it. I mean, I want real numbers.
Absolutely.
Good. Yes, of course you can.
Okay, great.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys good with it? You good with it? That's right. I should invite you to the state of the city to tell everybody about the program there. Would you do that? Absolutely. Okay, great. Thank you.
You need to pull these 3 items.
I don't see Jason. Where's Jason? Oh, there he is. Okay. What items? Okay, moving on to the consent calendar, pull items.
CC5, CC6, and CC16.
Jason, you're going to make me pull 3 items? I mean, you couldn't have been happy with 1? Maybe 2?
I'm wrapping it all in. Thank you.
All right. Anything else we need to pull?
No. I'll make a motion that we accept the consent calendar as currently comprised, pulling CC 5, 6, and 16.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Let's vote.
Lauren?
And it's unanimous. And we will have remedial button-pushing horses at the end of the, oh. Jason.
Mayor and council. Yeah, I just wondered on the tax sharing agreements with the Waterworks District, Sanitation District, Mosquito, Cemetery, all that. Why can't we do that all in one swoosh? Like everything that's in city limits, we can just do it in one swoosh. I don't know if that's legal or not, but it seems like it might be more
They're
productive.
separate boards. They're separate entities on their own.
Yeah, I know.
Some of them are county. That's why we can't do that. So we have to accept our portion inside the county.
Just seems like it would create a lot of revenue for those districts too.
That's why they call it the county.
Yeah. Okay. Also on the landscape maintenance district, I was wondering if the entrances into housing tracts, if they can all be annexed into the city landscape districts, so those areas, when you first go into a housing tract, it looks nice. Because what's happening is those homeowners aren't taking care of those side yards that go into the housing tracts, and the whole, you're hurting the sellability of 50 to 100 homes. Image is everything,
For existing development, it's very difficult because it requires a vote of the residents that are there. But for all new development in Lancaster, we are either requiring that, or many of the new developments have a property owners association, which they levy fees on the property owners and maintain that to prevent exactly that issue you're talking about.
But I think it'd be worth it for you to go back to see if those residents would want to, because that's part of the blight problem we have in Lancaster. Also, there are so many dead trees in the landscape district that the city maintains. I mean, it's crazy. And here we have 4th of July, the fireworks. Why isn't the city cutting those trees down, cutting the dead limbs and the landscaping out, and actually using foster care kids to replant them? We're in a high heat zone. We can get free money for all the landscaping trees we want. So it's just an idea to put these kids to work, make them have community pride, and make them part of the community, and also benefit the community with more shade trees. Because if a city looks good, a tree-lined city makes a city look good. That's the image of a city, is really tree-lined streets.
Dead trees?
Oh, there's lots of trees. There's dead trees in your parking lot, Mayor. Not to say anything bad, but there are so many dead trees in Lancaster. Okay, on the Aquatic Center, I would like more information on that. There isn't a swimming pool on the east side or far west side. Each high school represents 40 to 50,000 people surrounding it. And there's no pool at East Lancaster or Lancaster High School. So why can't we have city pools at those areas? So it's just crazy that there isn't a city swimming pool for 40 to 50,000 residents and for the schools' swim teams. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. We are working on the swimming pool problem, aren't we, Marvin?
Yes. Motion to approve CC 5, 6, and 16.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Let's vote. And it passes unanimously. Again? Okay. PH1. The public hearing is now open. Patty Garibay will do the presentation. There is a speaker's card. And you can blame Mr. Zink for your having to present.
Oh, great. Thank you, Mr. Zink. Good afternoon, Mayor and council members. For your consideration is the vacant home ordinance, which adds Chapter 9.55 to the Lancaster Municipal Code relating to the regulation of vacant residential properties. The purpose of this ordinance is to address the increasing number of vacant residential properties in the city that are not being maintained, are unsafe or to enter or occupy, and are creating disturbances in our neighborhoods. These properties often attract trespassing, accumulate debris, and contribute to blight, ultimately impacting property values and community well-being. Under this ordinance, a vacant property is defined as one that is substantially unoccupied or abandoned for more than 45 days. It also applies where no construction activity or inspection has occurred under an active permit within the last 90 days. Chapter 9.55 will require owners of vacant properties to register their property with the city using a vacant property registration form, submit a letter of agency allowing the city to address trespassing, provide emergency contact information prior to the use of, prior use of the property, square footage, insurance details, and future plans. And in addition to registration, property owners must continue to do all the things that they normally do, which is keep vegetation trimmed, ground cover under 6 inches, shrubs no taller than 36 inches, maintain functional irrigation, remove trash and debris, post no trespassing signs if directed by the chief of police, secure the property to prevent any unauthorized entry. This ordinance gives community preservation and LPD the authority to proactively address issues. Violations that are not corrected will be subject to administrative penalties under the municipal code. Adopting this ordinance will help maintain property values, reduce blight and safety hazards, encourage responsible property ownership, and improve the quality of life for our residents.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Zink.
Yeah, I'm really worried about properties being deteriorated in the city. And also, just recently, a house burnt down next to a friend of mine. And the fire department broke out all the windows like they had to and tore up the roof to vent it. But what happened was the property sat there for weeks. And I tried to get people to do something about it, and they wouldn't do it. So I paid myself to get plywood and board up the house. And also, all the toxic ash from that house, because we have the high winds, blew into the neighboring house, my friend's house. And I had to buy them air purifiers for their house. So there has to be some kind of code that requires within 72 hours for houses to be boarded up. They can't sit vacant like that. The other thing is I've contacted the city many times on property next to my family's home, and the city for 9 months hasn't done anything. There's a rooster, there's the carpet out there, the trash cans are along the sidewalk. I've contacted the city code enforcement for 9 months. I contacted the captain's office, emailed them, no response, 9 months. This is the problem that's happening. We're trying to be good citizens. We're trying to report blight, but the city is not there for us. I don't get it. You know, and it's the first house, you go into the housing tract, it's the first house you see going into the housing tract. That's a mess.
Are you talking about the burned down one?
The what?
The burned up one?
No, this is another one in East Lancaster. So the city is not responding. I really think the city should hire an observation quality control person that goes around, looks at things, observes things, and gets the city to take care of them.
How do you know the city's not responding?
Because the time that's gone by. I walk the city streets because I've been trying to lose some weight. And I will tell you, the utility boxes in the sidewalks have been broken for 5 years. Trees dead for 5 years.
Okay, well, Jason, what I'm trying to point out to you is you don't know that the city hasn't responded. You haven't inquired as to what are the hoops they have to go through. I mean, we can't just go in and take over people's property. As much as I would like to be able to do that.
You can't require them to put their trash cans up by their house. You can't require them to get the junk that's in front of their yard and put it in their backyard.
All kinds of things. It's the enforcement of it that has procedural safeguards for them that takes a while to go through. And all I'm suggesting to you is that before you come and tell the council that the staff, who I know how hard they work, I know how much overtime they put in. I mean, hell, they answer my calls at 3 in the morning. You know, I know.
Maybe they do yours, but they're not doing it to the residents. Why haven't they communicated to myself?
First of all, Jason, they should answer their boss's call. Okay?
Well, yes, they should.
That is a little different. That is what's required in today's environment. But what I'm saying is ask them. We have the computer technology now. We'll give you a printout of everything we did in regards to that house. Get that printout before you come to me, because I can just imagine how uncomfortable it is for them to have a citizen come up and report to their council something that may not be accurate. And I'm not saying it isn't. I'm
Mayor
just saying
Parris,
you don't
I've had
know.
city staff email the code enforcement officer to contact me. He says,
I'm just suggesting to you, get the printout. Follow up first.
okay, so can I go to the city manager and ask him for the printout?
Well, actually, I would prefer you go to the clerk's office, because the city manager is so highly paid, I'm afraid to look at him, because.
But this is, I'm telling you, there's a lack of response time for these complaints against properties that are.
You know what we call that? We call that the perception of wait time.
9 months is, you can have a baby in 9
Yeah,
months.
but that doesn't mean that in the 9 months, they haven't done 10 different things trying to get these people to be in compliance. But there's a perception with you, the citizen, that nothing's done, which is a correct, I mean, I understand why you have that perception. I'm just suggesting to you it may not be accurate. Now, it may be a procedural problem we have in not getting back to the complainant. You know, we deal with the homeowner, but we kind of, whoever filed the complaint, we just leave them out there. Maybe we should have a follow-up process for them that, you know, or, hell, we got AI, they can just send the email, right? I mean,
I don't know if the captain's been getting my emails or phone calls, you know, because I'm sure you got a secretary. But I've asked the city to come go over there and look at it, and no response.
I know how frustrating it appears. I'm just suggesting to you that it may not be what it appears. And by tomorrow, we'll know. We'll know exactly what happened. And if you want to give the chief a call, he'll tell you.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. PH2.
Oh, close the public hearing.
Oh, well, I'm announcing what I'm doing first.
No,
I mean, don't you want to know what chapter I'm on?
No.
The public hearing is now open.
No, closed.
Oh, I got to close that public hearing.
Right.
I get so confused. You know, maybe those guys have a point. No, never mind. Close the public hearing.
I'll move that we accept PH1 and adopt ordinance 1133.
I second that.
And in the staff report, there was an additional requested action to authorize the city manager to approve the vacant property registration application provided in the agenda packet in substantially the form provided, and to authorize the city manager to amend the same from time to time as he determines to be necessary or appropriate. Would ask that that be part of the motion.
That's what I said.
I thought it was. I just misheard you.
It's good that we've got her.
You still second it?
Yeah, second that.
I didn't hear a thing. My hearing aids broke, but all right.
Let's vote.
Let's vote. And it passes unanimously. PH2, the public hearing is now open. We have one speaker card. Trolise. You can thank Sean Cannon for having to be up there.
But I expect that Sean is coming up to praise our budget, so I'm glad he's coming up. Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. Happy to be here today and presenting on our annual budget. I'm going to have Larissa De La Cruz. She'll be helping out. She'll come up second, and then George Harris, our Finance Director, will finish this off. He'll go into the numbers that he always loves to do this time of year because it is budget season. So before we get into it, though, I just want to thank this council. You make our job easy as staff. You set the priorities, you set the goals, you set the vision, and we're able to really incorporate that in, and it makes this budget process go a lot quicker and more streamlined than a lot of other cities that I know of. The other thing I did want to thank, and I think a couple of our members from our finance team are here, but I want to thank the finance team, the executive team, the analysts, and really all of the staff that worked really hard to crunch all the numbers to bring this here today. So thank you to the staff there. Do I have a pointer? I have a presentation somewhere. I don't think that it's up, though. So we'll get to the punchline first. And the punchline is we have a $282 million budget. We have a general fund of about $139 million. That is the green bucket that the vice mayor likes to refer to, so that's money with no strings. And we have a $48 million reserve, which I would put up against any other city our size in the state. Because while other cities are going bankrupt, we're not. We have a healthy reserve, and we're ready to weather any economic storm in the near future. So we're there. And that's all because of the hard work of this council. I think it really, over the last 15, 17 years since the mayor, vice mayor, and you guys have been in place, we've been fiscally responsible. We've had innovative ideas that generate revenue for the city, and we've been very business friendly, which brings in new growth, new jobs, generates good revenue, and then we budget that smartly. So hats off to you guys for that. Before we really jump into the budget itself, I want to tell a quick story. So it was about this time last year where Jason Cottle, the former city manager, was transitioning.
Charlize,
Yes.
can I interrupt real quick?
Yes, you may.
Just, the mayor has something to say.
Let's open the public hearing.
Oh, go ahead.
All right. So it was about this time last year where Jason Cottle, our former city manager, was transitioning out. Now was transitioning in. And I call this the challenge because I had several conversations with both the mayor and the vice mayor about, hey, when you come in, we need to do something more strategic, better, more organized. We didn't know what that meant, but I think in the words of Stephen Covey, we began with the end in mind, so we knew what the end was going to be. We just didn't know how to get there. So we hired an executive consultant. She came in, she worked with this entire executive team, and she really helped us focus what our priorities should be, and then help create a tracking system for actually accomplishing those priorities. We then had a meeting with the mayor and vice mayor to talk through what those priorities were. This is a picture of that. It was a full day, it was long, it was a debate, and I think you could tell by the looks on all of our faces, it wasn't very easy. But we came out of there and we had a plan, and we've set that plan into motion. We built it around 3 principles that we all agreed upon, creating a feel of safety for our residents, creating a strong sense of community, and creating upward mobility. So any goal that went into the plan had to at least meet one of these pillars, but better if it met more than one. We first created, it was a Google sheet, correct? We created this Google Sheet doc, which organized all the priorities by department. It had short-term, long-term, and we were tracking it that way. It was easy, but it started to become cumbersome as we started checking them off the list. So we actually found a software which does it. It's this ClearGov. We implemented that about 3 months ago. This helps us. Every executive team meeting, we're going through this. We're checking off goals. We're adding new short-term goals. And then in the relatively near future, we're going to be implementing the reporting part of this, where we can actually give reports out to the council. We can post reports on the internet for our residents so they can see what goals we're accomplishing and what we're getting done here as a city. I think because of this system and because of this new organization, we had one of our biggest years ever in terms of accomplishing goals and tasks. And so with that, we'll go into our wins. We had a lot this year. It starts with our Lancaster Police Department. First off, with direction from this council, we had a priority to take care of the homeless problem and really get a handle on that. We got a win early in the year. I think it was almost about a year ago to this date, where the Supreme Court overturned a couple of the court decisions that were dictating how we had to handle homeless. So at that time, we were able to ramp up and redo our critical infrastructure ordinance, our anti-camping ordinance, and then we took one homeless team and we built that out to 3 homeless teams. So because of that, this past year, we cleaned up 550 tons of debris in homeless encampments. I think that equates to over 1 million pounds, if you want to put it in pounds. We also had successes like behind the Denny's here on Avenue I. We had a systemic homeless issue there. They were always camping kind of in that back parking lot area, but the teams hit it regularly. They engaged those individuals. We ended up fencing that area, and we don't have that problem anymore. It hasn't been a problem in months, and that's the same success we look forward to seeing in the next year in many more locations. So slowly but surely, but we're getting a handle on it. The next success with our LPD, we opened the police station, state-of-the-art training center. We swore in our first 6 officers, I think, at our December council meeting. That's that picture there. And then we also started to implement all of the technology. We put shot splatter, flock, verkada, drones, all that feed into the Intelligent Crime Center. And what that means for Lancaster is that our homicide solve rate was 98% last year. The rest of the county, 42%. That's more than double the rest of the county. So if I were doing a crime, I wouldn't do it in Lancaster because we will get you here.
That's 2% less than it was in '23. What happened?
100?
Well, in '23, it was 100%. Now we lost 2%? What?
We're still at A+.
It's not perfection.
And then we also, the next picture here is our Boulevard substation. So we're building that out. We intend to open that in the near future, and that's going to provide additional security to those Boulevard businesses to ensure that they can operate successfully and keep selling whatever they're selling on the Boulevard. Then we got delivery of our 8 motorcycles. They're actually sitting over at our corporate yard right now. They're logoed up. They're ready to use. And we swear in our first 3 officers on July 9th. They actually start Monday, July 8th. We were hoping to get them in sooner, but they had other jobs that they've got to give leave to, so that's when the timing works. But looking forward to seeing those out there because they are going to start making our roads safer. The mini bikes, the speeding, the passing in the bike lanes. These guys are going to be out there, all 8 of them, issuing tickets on a regular basis. Major projects. We had a lot of major projects last year. We broke ground on the Paris Convention Center. So that's over at the fairgrounds. It's 3 buildings, the 140,000 square foot event center, the 20,000 square foot auditorium, and the 7,500 square foot community kitchen. That is under construction now. I think if you go out there, steel's going up on it. So it's going to build in that community resiliency and that event center that we need here in the Antelope Valley. We broke ground and ribbon cut the AV Alta Stadium, so that's the one where staff actually got that done in 9 months, to everybody's disbelief, I think, even the soccer team. But that team has been a huge success so far. They've had a couple sellouts. They're averaging over 4,500 in attendance. They've broken all of the USL League One record sales for merchandise. They're over $500,000 to date and growing. I think we were at an event there 2 weeks ago, and the line was long, and the kids were buying scarves and shirts and jerseys, so they're doing well there. And it's really becoming that community rallying point that we wanted the stadium to be. We made significant progress on our Avenue J interchange. So this is a $45 million project where we're redoing that interchange there, adding on and off ramps. But I think the feature that I like best about it is the aesthetics. You can see this is at J8 and 20th Street West, and you can see how that corridor is going to look throughout the city now. This is the first, but we're going to do K next, then M, then L, then G, and our entire corridor is going to look like that. So if you're driving on the 14 and you come to Lancaster, you're going to know that you're there for good reasons because it looks beautiful and it's a well-maintained city. And then last up here, we ribbon cut and the auto mall signage. So I think we did this last fall, but it's new signage that really advertise all the brands that we have available to sell. We also have an open rewards program going with them right now. So that's about $175, I think you get in open rewards if you buy a new car right here in Lancaster. So take advantage of that program if you're looking. And next up, we're looking at doing exterior signs for that auto mall. Another major project, we acquired the old Desert Christian High School for $4.9 million. We are building that out as the Midtown Educational Center. We take the keys July 1st. So there's actually money in this budget to do some upgrades to the facility and start programming it. This ties into just how important youth programs are for us. We'll be able to do more sports leagues. It's 26 classrooms there, so we can have additional classes, bring in some community partners to help us operate it. But it's all about keeping kids busy with positive things. If we can keep the kids busy with positive things, there's no idle time to do things they shouldn't be doing. Parks, we continue to work on our public art. I think two of my favorite pieces are the top corner there is at the fire station over there on 40th Street West, and that was part of a community cleanup event we did on MLK Day. That one came out really great, and then the LPD there is just a beautiful piece too. But this is 4 of the many that we implemented last year, and I'm looking forward to seeing more this next year. And then we continue to work on our parks. So over the last about 4 years, we've been redoing all the parks. This year it was Raleigh-Duntley and Mariposa Park that got done. We have more in the budget this year, so we'll be doing more, and just looking forward to giving those amenities to the community as well. Then we continue with our events. So our parks team, we moved the annual Halloween event from where it had been at the stadium because we were under construction over to the east side. It was a hit over there. I think there were 6,000 residents that took part in that. It went really well. That facility worked really well for it. We moved the fields of draft from the stadium over to the fairgrounds. That worked well too this year. We had the Magical Boulevard Christmas where we had over 20,000 people there on the boulevard, a beautiful event. And then shameless plug for the event we have coming up on June 28th. We'll be having an event on the boulevard, the summer block party. And then the other thing we did is we had a successful Poppy Festival, even though the weather was not good, even windy, cold. Some of us got sick at the event. I think, too, we had a record-breaking number of... Huh?
Lead with the good stuff.
No, I think we had a record-breaking number of animals, correct?
We did. There was about an extra 15% throughout the fair, but the fair is moving and in coordination with the school district. If it's not for the school district, then places like the Palmdale High now has a new FAA opportunity. So when you're seeing kids from Palmdale participate, they're participating in, there's an extra 10 of them. So it adds to the animals, but it adds to the flavor of the entire valley.
So again, another successful year of events. That went the wrong way. Our public works team, if you recall, last year in the budget, we brought in-house illegal dumping and graffiti cleanup. I point this out because you can see the difference in the numbers from year to year. So we've almost tripled, or maybe more, quadrupled the number of requests for illegal dumping cleanup, and you can see the tonnage numbers that have gone up significantly, and the locations have gone up significantly, and same for graffiti. In this year's budget, we actually have another 4 maintenance workers we're adding to this team, so you'll continue to see these numbers go up, and we'll continue to have a cleaner community because of it. And then in the CMO's office, we kicked off our first leadership academy, so that's what the pictures are up there on the top, and that's the 14 individuals that are taking part. So this is really the city investing in that next generation of leader and building out those courses for them to learn leadership skills that they'll grow into these roles as we all move on to the next phases of our life. The other thing we have up here is we had a wonderful breakfast in January this past year where the executive team got to announce a lot of the key initiatives and goals the city has to the entire staff, but we took it upon ourselves to also recognize some of our superstars and give them recognition at that event. So we're hoping this breakfast becomes an annual thing. And then lastly, for my part of the presentation, we launched CityBot. So his name is Ask Andy, and you can go onto our website, and this is a video that shows it in real time. You can ask Andy anything, and Andy will answer you. And you put that in there, and he spits out the answer. The next phase of Andy is a phone bot, and that will launch early part of next year. So when you call the city of Lancaster, it will sound like you're talking to a real person, and you can ask it anything, and it will give you the answer and or transfer you to the appropriate staff. With that, Larissa, you can come on up and talk through where we're headed.
And 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm ready.
Excitement.
I am so ready. I counted down. As Trelise mentioned, there were a few things that we will repeat just slightly. But where we're headed, we will continue our Digital Shield initiative with our police department. And this is really a look on technology and all of the wonderful things that we can do with all of the technology opportunities with our drone, our flock cameras, our gunshot detection systems, and all of the other technology opportunities and enhancements that will further aid in reducing crime in our community. And to give just kind of a totality of the importance of public safety in the city, we looked at our budget and we looked at the last several years and how much we've grown our police department, and we have really dedicated a good budget to expand and lay the foundation down. We're currently budgeted for 46 total full-time employees, and as you can see, our budget has grown from 4.2 million to 15.9. And this is inclusive of our sworn officers, including our chief, and all of the fine folks that are out in the field, and our non-sworn, which is 29. This is all of the support staff, the homeless teams that run the behind-the-scenes operational day-to-day components of our police department. And so the build-out of the police continues to be an important task for the city, and it's one of the guiding principles, as we mentioned moments ago. On the capital improvement side, we are proposing a $3.4 million budget. This is just a small piece of the big capital improvement pie. The big pie is $147 million in projects and current projects that are in progress. That includes preventative maintenance, road rehabilitation projects, pavement management, concrete repairs, and all of the day-to-day improvements that we see out and need to address in our infrastructure. But of the proposed for this year, as we highlighted moments ago, there's a few specific and key projects. $1.52 million is for our Midtown Community Center that we mentioned, and this is really to get the building in good repair operationally, the internal components, the technology enhancements, really getting it ready on the internal infrastructure to get it programmed before we can open, and really start programming some of the functions and programs for that. We're also allocating $1 million to our aquatic center that was mentioned moments ago, and this will be a state-of-the-art aquatic center. We have already began conceptual design. This initial money will go into really focusing and honing in on design and construction and building out a schedule and really getting it moving. We have been tasked with a very quick turnaround time to get it built, and we are committed to doing everything that we can, and this is the first initial step of that. We also have a $700,000 match to a grant that was received for Samaritan's Purse. And enhancements for Samaritan's Purse will include a skate park, splash pad, and other updates that will really make it a thriving park for our families to visit, and really just revitalizing the open space at Samaritan's Purse. We're also continuing with our interchange improvements. We keep using the Avenue J photo. We're very proud of it, really proud of how this turned out. Avenue K will be the next major interchange project that will begin this next fiscal year, pending some Edison coordination and relocation, but this is also coming in the next budget cycle. Our Parks Master Plan, a few months ago, the council approved a contract with MIG Consultants to really kick off our master plan, and over the next year, we will start all of the community engagement, the stakeholder interviews, really working with stakeholders and members of the community to really hone in on what the needs are for our parks. How do we develop this master plan that's beneficial to all that utilize our parks and our recreation areas, and identifying a needs assessment, and this will be a really important master plan that the council will see over the coming year. On the community development side of the operation, development is booming. We have not stopped, and we will continue to see growth. We will see sticks in the ground. We will see a variety of different sectors that are growing. The industrial space, we've been talking about 7 million square feet in the pipeline of industrial space for warehousing and distribution. That's jobs. That is a really good reinvestment into our community. Commercial space, over 200,000 square feet. Residential, we have units, over 11,000 residential units in the pipeline, variety of units. Over the next year, you will also see a proposed annexation, and this is inclusive of about 100 square miles to the north of our current city boundary line that will further expand the city's boundary. And that's really based on the need for growth from what we hear from the local economy and the need to expand. You will see that. Some cool projects just to mention that are in community development now. Some good dining options. There's a Texas Roadhouse, a Raising Cane's, a Floor and Decor, just a few cool things to throw that you will see over in the next year. Also on the community development, the community preservation side, we are all in on technology, on AI, on how we can better streamline code enforcement. And we heard some of the comments this evening. These are a couple of options that we believe will further aid and supplement the code enforcement work to further streamline. NoiseNet is a system that will help detect noise, help address noise complaints. We received quite a bit of dog barking complaints. The system will help us really capture where the noise is coming from and automate the process to get to it quicker. City Detect, you all saw a brief overview of that a couple of months ago as well. This is a system that will have cameras on our vehicles that will go out and detect blight as it's driving through town. It will capture those areas that are not currently being seen, that could be seen, and really help further move and streamline our processes in code enforcement. These are really, really exciting. On the economic development side of the shop, we continue with the economic development mindset, and this is really being a place where businesses want to be. If you recall, we were a 4-time Eddie Award winner. We look forward to being a 5th and a 6th and as many as we can get. And over the next year, we will also be kicking off a community, an economic development strategic plan that will really help guide the vision of the council and of the leadership for the city for economic development, and programs that will help us with our local businesses and our local economy, and really just paving the way for the future of economic development in the city. As part of that also, Charlize mentioned earlier, we will continue the Shop, Drive, Earn program and our local rewards, continuing to market these programs, to give free money. We want to see the program grow, and especially in our Shop, Drive, Earn campaign with our Lancaster Auto Mall. It's an opportunity to shop local, stay local, keep your monies local, and get a reward for it while you're at it. And so with that, I will turn it over to George, who will go over the fund numbers. Thank you.
Yes.
Good evening. They didn't make me the closer because I'm the better looking one. They just like me to talk about the numbers because that's not the fun part. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is a great opportunity. Oh, I'm sorry. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's a whole different presentation.
It's a whole different presentation. Actually, I think 2 years ago we started this budget presentation with all of the wonderful things that have been accomplished, plus all the wonderful things that we plan on accomplishing in the next year with the budget. And I think that's the best way to present the budget, because at the end of the day, what the budget is, it's all of these wonderful things that we are doing for the community. It is us turning the vision of the city council and the mayor into actual actionable objectives that will benefit the community. And then we figure out how to pay for it after, once we get the vision. And so I've been fortunate enough to work for the city for now 5 years, and I've had an opportunity to really see big ideas turn into real action. A lot of communities have big ideas and don't have any clue on how to fund those ideas. And I'm fortunate enough to work in an organization where we have a council that understands that the funding has to be there to make it happen. And every time I turn around, the funding is there to make things happen. It just makes all of our jobs very much easier to be able to say yes when those requests come in. I very much appreciate it. I just want to tell you I do appreciate that. Going back to the citywide budget numbers, Charlize talked about the expenditure side. We do expect to receive $314 million in revenue over the course of the year, which encompasses all of the funds, with $3.4 million in capital programs that are a part of this particular action that you will have in front of you on the 24th. There are going to be another action in October that will bring forth the balance of the capital projects that we're able to do after we reconcile the end of the year spending. For the general fund, that was the $139 million in revenue, planned $129 million in direct general fund expenses, 2.3 in capital improvement program expenses, and then net transfers to a number of special revenue funds that they each have their own reason while they are getting support from the general fund that we hope to remedy and mitigate over the next 12 months. Looking at fund balance reserves this year are expected to end at $48 million. However, I would like to point out that as a result of the passage of Measure YM, our reserve percentage is based on the amount of revenue that we have. It's a 40% of the revenue. So as the revenue took a large jump up with the passage of YM, as does the reserve requirement. We, at $48 million, this is where the reserves are as far as the requirement for the prior year, and we will be working our way to meet the new reserve requirement over the next couple of years. And this is just a picture of where the reserves are headed, and then they expect to end the year with the $48 million total. We've talked about the reserves multiple times in a row over the last few years. No real need to go back over this, but if you do have any questions, the reserve situation is based on a policy that was adopted in 21-22, which actually set the layers up. And I believe 2 years ago, Vice Mayor recommended an increase, which brought us up to the 40% amount. From a personnel standpoint, there is an additional 21 positions this year. We are transitioning the 5 first public hydrogen positions out of the city, and they are now standalone in their own entity, a JPA, that was formed late in the January timeframe. But there is one additional position being proposed in parks, one position being proposed in IT to help with the police and AI initiatives. And then, like Charlize mentioned, there's a few more public works positions that are being proposed to help with the graffiti removal, the homeless cleanup, as well as converting some of those contract roles that we have into in-house roles, simply because legislation has changed and raised the price of those contract roles to make sure that it resulted in the contract not being as cost-effective as they used to. So we've actually made the decision, or we're making the recommendation to bring those services in-house, and it actually end up saving money. Discussing Measure LC YM expenses. When YM was approved in November, city manager sat down with the council to discuss what those 4 buckets of priority were going to be for the Measure YM funds, focusing on Lancaster Police Department, beautification, child care and youth development, and ultimately economic reinvestment, which we have already discussed a lot of those initiatives that are going to be going forth in this next year. Under Lancaster Police Department, the homeless plan implementation, as you see, we have increased those teams with the new funds. Traffic enforcement, we have purchased those motorcycles, and we have, at mid-year of this current year, approved the additional 7 bodies that are actually going to be on the street. We're in the process of hiring those bodies. 3 of them will be sworn in by the end of this month, and the balance will come there shortly after. The citywide crime prevention technology, which is an ongoing the digital umbrella, the digital shield that we've talked about, which encompasses all of the technology that the police department is using to fight crime and solve cases. And then code enforcement teams that in the last budget, we were actually able to expand the code enforcement efforts through contract services. From beautification, the landscape maintenance districts are getting special attention this year. The general fund is actually supporting with having YM in place. The general fund is now able to actually support those other funds. And in this particular year, $1.3 million is being added from the general fund, from Measure YM, to help support the efforts in the landscape maintenance district. There's additional street paving, the illegal dumping and graffiti, the additional teams that we talked about there already, and then public art is going to be part of the strategy as that strategic plan is being completed. The economic reinvestment, the Shop More program we've already talked about. We are currently working with, we have a small group of folks here led by the city manager. We are working with the city of Palmdale, the high school district, as well as the staff over at the fair to really come up with the Paris Convention Center operations and marketing strategy. We have actually our next meeting is next Monday. And so we're meeting regularly now while the facility is under construction to make sure we're ready to go when that facility is completed. And then the youth development, the Midtown Education Center, we talked about a few times tonight, the Aquatic Center, and this is one that when this facility is completed, and I don't want to take Marvin's how do I want to describe this? This is Marvin's idea. And when we sat down with him and he talked about the scope of this particular project and the size of it and all the community members and students that this project is going to help, we about fell out of our chairs at how amazing we know this facility is going to be. And so when we talk about, and the gentleman that was here today speaking about not having swimming pool facilities in any of the schools, this facility is going to not only assist and provide a space for those kids at those high schools, but it's also going to expand the use above those kids to any kind of other youth programming. Our local seniors are going to now have a place to really to have their activities, the youth for swim lessons and whatnot. And it's going to be a large enough facility to be able to host. Not only are we going to provide a pool for the high schools here, we're going to actually be able to host their competitions here in Lancaster, which brings in additional revenue on those weekends. This is the full list, and I know that we've gone over this. All that of everything that we discussed tonight is listed here. We basically have reconciled to the revenue that we expect from Measure LC, Measure YM, and it goes fast. For those that don't know, you can get a $21 million revenue, and with the priorities that were already set prior to receiving the revenue, it was easy to identify where those funds were going to go. And so the vision came first, the money came second, and now we're actually able to make sure that everything gets facilitated the way and how it was envisioned by the council. Nobody is more proud to be able to say that we can do that than the person who has to write the checks and make sure that the money is there when it's all said and done. Next steps. So today is the workshop. We have a public hearing. So Mary, you'll have to close the public hearing when we're done. June 16th, Measure LC committee will be going over this list. So the Measure LC committee meets next week. On the 24th, we will come back for final adoption. And then the fiscal year begins on July 1st. That's when we put it all in action. We are all available if you have any questions.
Thank you. Any questions?
Just a thank you to staff, everyone that put this together. It's a long, hard-out thing that we need to do, but thank you, staff, for what you have done and put together, and thank you to the rest of the council for what you guys have done. It's going to be good, and I appreciate us using all the sales tax and all the tax money that is being provided for us. We're not just letting it sit. We're actually doing things with it. And those things are, just to name a few, we redid the stadium. We're doing the fairgrounds. We're doing the aquatic center. We did the police department. There's hundreds of millions of dollars that we have working out there. So thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Close the public hearing.
No, I'm not done. I don't want to close it. George, that is truly remarkable. I mean, you don't get to print money. It's not like the federal government where they just print more. I mean, we're kind of stuck with what we got, right? I'm impressed. It shows significant growth. Thank you. Okay, public hearing's closed. Is there a motion?
Motion to,
Wait, we had a public comment, and I don't think we had the commenter come down. Did we? Okay.
Sean Cannon.
Sean.
What the hell? I thought you were on our team.
I'm on team everyone, right?
do we
And so
need
I just wanted to say,
hang on,
go
Sean.
ahead.
Do we need to reopen the public hearing?
Yes, the public hearing should be open for this.
Reopened.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay.
See what you did.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I just wanted to thank all of you, everyone, for the thoughtful work that you put on this proposed budget. Today I had the honor of attending our 8th grade promotion ceremonies in the Eastside Union, and I saw students filled with pride, promise, and potential, and I thought this is who we're fighting for. I know this budget reflects the same commitment. It supports public safety, it supports infrastructure, quality of life, all essential parts of the educational environment that our children will grow up in. My motto is for our students, for our children, and the educational community around them. And that around them is where this city leads. They don't just succeed in classrooms, they succeed in communities. What stood out to me most in this budget was the tens of millions of dollars in sales tax revenue, especially from Measures LC and Measures YM. That's a clear vote of confidence from our residents, trusting us to reinvest in what matters: safe streets, strong programs, and opportunities for our youth. This isn't just revenue. This is showing them that we are taking their trust and literally, as you saw those kids earlier, turning it into impact. Thank you for making Lancaster a city where our children can grow, learn, and thrive, and with the full support of the educational community around them. These aren't just numbers. They're lives that will be impacted for generations to come. I'm glad to be a part of it, and I can't wait to get our district ready for it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. I don't want to close it. Sonia, the public art build-out, when can I get a report on exactly when everything's going to be done?
Yes, of course.
We're at that phase now that you know exactly when everything will be done?
We have we can share the plan and the sequence of events for that. We have 4 murals planned, and then we have a couple selections for sculptures.
Okay.
So we'll share that with you.
So, end of the month?
Sure, I can do 4 murals and 2 sculptures in 30 days.
No.
I'm just kidding.
I need a report.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get that by the end of the month. No problem.
You know, there's only room for one smart.
I don't do that very often.
Thank you. Okay. George, we got to put some money in the budget so we can buy the council some hats. I've noticed that they could use some help.
Just give me the style and size, and we'll take care of that.
I'll send it to you.
All right.
Oh, you guys wanted to choose your own, I see.
Yeah, individually, I'm sure they'll have their own stuff.
We're getting too much sun?
Huh? What?
We're getting too much sun?
Yeah, you are actually.
Only 2 people wore that hat, a dog and Rex.
That's not just any dog. That was Lex. Okay.
My mistake.
Okay. Also, Trelise, I'd like to really work on the word selection that we use. Like, we're not evicting homeless people. We're evicting trespassers who are illegally camping. And I think we should designate them that, because I think people get confused. You know, I mean, when you look at all the money we put into housing people, you know, and then we have to put up with public comment about when we move people engaged in illegal activity. I think a lot of that is our fault because of the word selection we use. We have to be more specific, and we have to be more clear on exactly who we're enforcing things against and who we're elevating. Okay? Thank you. Now I can close the public hearing.
It's about time.
It's about time, okay. You ever notice how when people get really old, how grumpy they get? I mean, I've noticed.
They have this new thing out if you put it next to your head.
Oh, you are so cold. You are so cold. Where is that thing? Should I show them what it
Yes.
is? So, Marvin is making fun of my device that stimulates your vagus nerve. And when you stimulate your vagus nerve, not only do you sleep through the night, but you lower your inflammation significantly, which means you live longer and healthier. Now, is that what you meant?
Absolutely, but I replaced yours with a taser.
I could see that happening, don't you? All right. Now, do we need a motion?
Motion to approve PH2.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Let's vote. It's unanimous. New business item 1. Do you guys need a break? Or you want to keep going?
We're good?
You all good? Okay. Allison Burns. Do we have any speaker parts in this?
We have one.
David Paul, is he here?
David Paul is no longer here.
Let's waive the staff report. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve CA1.
Is there a second?
NB1, sorry.
Is there-
second.
Okay. Let's vote. It's unanimous. Passes. Council agenda. So why am I the presenter of the social media? You think I need more community dissension out there? Maybe
So
a third
last-
recall is in order, or?
So last meeting, you gave direction to turn off social media comments, which was implemented, but you also wanted to get the input of the council, as I understood the comments at the last meeting. And so we agendized this as the opportunity for the council to discuss whether to enable or disable social media comments on city-affiliated accounts, and to have that opportunity for the council to discuss, reach a consensus or not, and provide appropriate direction to staff.
Motion to approve CA1.
Are we enabling or disabling?
Disabling.
There we go. Thanks.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Let's vote. Wait a minute, I didn't mean to say no. Can we redo it?
We can revote if there was an error.
It
All right.
passes unanimously. In the immortal words of Richard Nixon, you won't have me to kick around anymore. Remember that? It was a great speech. No, I'm the only one.
I remember
Does
it.
anybody here remember Richard Nixon? Yeah. All right. Council reports. Raj, let's start with you.
Yes, last week, Trolleys and I got to go we took a tour. There is a project on 30th East and Avenue K, and I was really impressed by that. It's called Revalo. It's a housing, and it's a low-income, affordable housing. And while we were doing the tour, there was one family, they were about to get keys, and I started talking to them, and they had a 4-kid little one, and they're going to only pay a 4-bedroom, $1,000. And it's a brand new house, and they were so happy because the place they were living now, the AC doesn't work, and it's on the 2nd floor, and they're like, we just came to heaven. So, I think, and after that, Marvin and I, we had lunch with the owner, and Marvin suggested him to build a senior citizen house as well, and he agreed to that. But I think we need a more project like that, truly. It's definitely like low-income, affordable people. They also deserve to live better.
Thank you.
So over the last 2 weeks, Mayor, I've had the opportunity to attend our AV Alta founding member event, and we heard so many wonderful things about the stadium already and the team. But when I think community, I think AV Alta now. To see a lot of our local business owners who, some of them I went to high school with, some of them a few years older than me, to see them come back home, start their own local businesses, and invest in our community, being sponsors at AV Alta, and therefore, is just really encouraging and hopeful. So in line with focusing on our youth and legacy and growing up here, I also had the opportunity to attend Sundown Elementary School's Career Day, and I brought back some feedback from them. I'll keep the list short. Let's see what were the more comical ones. They're happy to hear about the aquatic center that's to come. They asked us to hurry it up. They talked about their splash pads and the fact that they love it. They asked if we could look into some shade options because their toes get burnt when they walk on it sometimes because it's so hard. The different splash pads we have, Mayor. Looking into shade.
Sonia, the kids are burning their feet?
Possibly, it shouldn't be, but we'll look into it. It could get a little hot if the water goes off. So, but we'll look into it, and we'll look at shade.
It's probably the walk from the grass.
Yeah,
to
the splash pad's not hot, but
no.
Yeah.
They asked for us to look into a community garden. They asked for additional school-age programming, which I was happy to report the new acquisition of the building where I told them, give us a minute, there'll be more programs there. One of the students kindly asked that we look into giving teachers discounts here in our local businesses because they do so much for them.
One of the kids said that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
And then they asked for a kindness center. And I did tell them about all of our many centers and that there's kindness within them, but they would like to see a center dedicated to just kindness. So I said, I'll see what I can do. I told them that roller coasters, trains throughout the city, and having a capivava. It's a trending animal, I guess. We will not be working on those projects in the near future, but thank you for bringing them forward. So that was a report from Sundown Elementary. I also had the opportunity to attend Congressman George Whiteside's Service Academy send-off, where we had a record turnout from the Antelope Valley area. So that was very exciting and encouraging. These are our future leaders of our country, of our local businesses. So to be able to celebrate that with him was really exciting. And then I also had the opportunity to volunteer with a local troop who who adopted a street within our city limits. And at 8 in the morning, there was a group of girls out there picking up trash and contributing to making this a more beautiful community. And that's the end of my report.
Can I get them to adopt my street? Just a thought. Ken, thank you.
Lorna and I both attended the community outreach for the homeless that we had at the police station. You know, it's funny, we talk about social media. I think we probably could have had a little bit better attendance at that outreach, especially when we're asking the public, what do you see? How do you envision the city embracing homelessness? So anyway, a lot of learnings there. Had a meeting with Destination Lancaster. Positive thing to say is that we've broken ground on would be what, the fourth Marriott, and I believe it's the larger Marriott courtyard. And I look forward to that because I think that that'll be one of the upper pieces as far as the Marriott properties. We also are working with the Oxnard Inn, and hopefully what we'll be able to do is rebrand that as an Radisson. And the owner there is now on the board at Destination Lancaster, so that we were able to get him come aboard. I represented the city at the Eternal Life Ministries. It's a private Christian school for graduation on Saturday, and very impressive because they not only do K through 12, but they also do adult. And so I was quite impressed with the number of a mixed group with a lot of adults present that graduated from high school. And then Saturday night, Raj and I attended LPAC, their fundraiser of the year, and it was successful. It was probably the largest amount of dollars that they've ever raised. So it was a very successful night at LPAC.
Thank you.
I'm good.
You good? You didn't do anything?
I didn't do anything.
Now, we know that's not true, because if he had done nothing, things would start collapsing, because in many respects, you're the, what do you call that stone at the top of the arch? What is that?
Keystone.
The keystone.
Keystone.
I thought that was a cop. Never mind. Go on.
We did do the casino night for the sheriff department, which we raised $530-some thousand for a one-day event, which is really good, which we were able to help Rod and his team. At our last booster meeting, we ordered $170,000 worth of shields, bulletproof shields, not just shields, but bulletproof entry shields for both Palmdale, our police department, and our sheriff department. So we ordered 17 of them. They're $10,000 a piece. But at the casino night, you could see the community is behind law enforcement. And, you know, I can't thank both of you enough for being there, for representing, for telling the community what we need and how we need it. But to represent the community, how you both do it, is just amazing. So thank you.
Thank you.
I did a few things. I met with the United States Speaker of the House, which I learned a lot. One of the things we talked about is the immigration policies of the current administration, and it was insightful. You know, I recognize just how painful this is for so many of our citizens and so many of our residents, this immigration change. Mostly, I think what it comes down to is the fear of uncertainty. I mean, I couldn't imagine what it would be like waiting around to either get arrested or deported and not know what I'm going to do with my children if that happens. I mean, there's a lot of people under a significant amount of stress, and I'm hoping that we can move to address that, to at least provide some relief for people who need help figuring it all out. The upside of the conversation with them was the recognition that, look, as soon as this initial immigration push is accomplished, the administration recognizes America cannot function without workers from Mexico and Central America. We just can't. I mean, the whole economy is structured around the need for this group of people. And recognizing that, they're going to make the work visa process much simpler so that people can come into the country, they can work, and they can return. I think that everybody would like that. I think everybody would like getting rid of the cloud of illegality on people just trying to support their families. But that does bring me to the issue of ICE and what we see happening in LA. And Rod, I want to be very clear. Any federal agency requests assistance from Lancaster Police Department, you will provide that assistance. Fair enough? The reason we're seeing National Guard on the streets and the reason we're seeing the Marine Corps guarding federal buildings is because local law enforcement refused to support federal agents when they requested assistance. I am not registering an opinion on whether or not the president's policies are good or bad. I'm just not. It's not for us to do that. But he is the president, and it is the federal government, and when police officers of any kind need help, we should provide it. I actually think the administration may be taking the rap for something they shouldn't. You know, if federal officers need assistance, they should get it. It's really that simple as far as I'm concerned. That does not mean that I like what's happening. I don't. I don't know what to do about it. I don't know how to do it better. I think that we just have to get through it and develop a better process. And I think we will all see that in a very short time. The other thing he said that I found fascinating was, you know, the new budget, if they pass it, would bankrupt the country. You know, the way it's projected, it would. You can't argue it. Except how they look at it is called a static projections, meaning based on historical, what's happened in the last 10 years or so. But what's happening now is because of the convergence of all these technologies, the gross domestic product is double or triple what it is now. When that occurs, that budget makes a great deal of sense. And the reason I bring it up is because, George, our budget is based on static projections, not dynamic projections. And I think we should look at that, because I don't think there's any question the gross domestic product has to rise significantly, simply because now with these technologies, labor costs are so low. You know, it's a no-brainer. I would like us to be a little more progressive and, oh, I hate that word, let's change that word, a little more intelligent in our projections of income, okay? And then let's see if there's options we should be looking at that we're not. Fair enough? Thank you. Oh, I also attended an AI conference for, was it 2 or 3 days? It was a long time. That was absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, what's coming? Wait a minute, it's not coming, it's already here. What, if we just learn how to use it, what the amount of power each of us now would have in not only our daily lives, but our work lives and our political influence. I mean, everything is changing so dramatically. It's astonishing to me. One of the things we're working on is we're going to take 3 of our lawyers, and there'll be avatars that look just like them. And they will have discussions about any legal issue that's occurring with different points of view. I mean, it's astonishing. What we can create with this AI stuff is mind-boggling to me. I hope everybody dives in with both feet
because it's going to be a great ride. I also attended the public H2 meetings, met with various developers, met with the Fiona Ma. That's coming along. I think we're going to see significant development from the H2 initiatives. For people that don't know, we have the only hydrogen public utility in America as of today. Obviously, that's going to change. There will be more, but at least in California, every indication is that if you want hydrogen, you're going to have to come to the Antelope Valley to get it and pay sales tax on it. So, I mean, it's, in many respects, a really good thing that's coming. And I think that is all I have. If anyone has any questions. Good. Thank you. City Manager.
Few quick updates. So I think we used to think that the fall was the event season, but I'm looking at this list they gave me, and I think your season now, Sonia, is all year long. So this Sunday, we have Juneteenth, so that's out at Owens Memorial Park. Come on out. Then 2 weeks later, we have the Summer Block Party, June 28th. It's on the Boulevard. It's a free event, music, food, activities, the drone light show again this year. Are we allowed to announce the artist yet? Okay, and I won't. 4th of July, that's on the 4th, so Friday the 4th this year, that's over at the fairgrounds. Tickets are on sale now. Get your tickets, get out there. Good family fun event, and there are fireworks that won't impact your neighbors or your neighbor's dogs, so go over there and enjoy the fireworks. We have a new, I think this is new, dine-in movies at Eastside Pool. So every Saturday night in June and July, we're going to have movies over there for families. So looking forward to that one. That one will be fun. And then our police department is doing Brews with Blues. I think we had a community member come in and talk about how do you give community impact and where can you give, or input, and where can you give input? Well, this is one of those events where you can come provide your input to our Lancaster Police Department. That is Thursday, June 18th, 3 to 5 p.m. at the Starbucks on West Avenue J.
Thank you. City Clerk.
This is the time to address the City Council Agency Authority on the non-agendized matters. Speaker cards may be found on the back table of the council chambers. If you have completed one, please ensure you place it up front so you may be recognized. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Please keep in mind, state law prohibits the council from acting on items that are not on the agenda, and your matter may be referred to the city manager. Thank you.
Thank you. Connie Vaughn.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council.
Good afternoon.
My name is Connie Vaughn, and I just wanted to piggyback on the gentleman, was that Mr. Mann? I did attend the workshop for the homeless. I thought it was wonderful. I think it was facilitated by the police department. I thought it was wonderful. It wasn't attended like I thought it would be, but it was very informative, and we got some things, talked about. Some of the PowerPoints were housing and transportation and mental health, which I think that was discussed the last meeting that we had about the mental health. And I believe that if there were more publicity or advertisement for the workshop, I would like to see it continue, because that way that it's behind the scenes and that the community as well as the homeless can come. Everybody's not on drugs. Everybody's not mentally incapacitated. I'm adamant about the homeless. I work with them and I interact with them quite a bit. I work with Grace Resource for 8 or 9 years under, first it was Steve Baker, then it was Jeremy Johnson and his wife. And I got to, interact with them and get to talking with them. And I see some of the frustration, and they have a great disdain for the government, of course, because they feel that it's nothing being done. Now, with this workshop, and then some of the people, I've seen them come off the street. A couple of them have come off the street. They need support. They need to be encouraged. Like all of us, we need to be encouraged at some point in time. So the workshops, I would like to continue seeing that done, and it would be more of a community and be more publicized or advertised, because I see a great, it was just good. And all of it was about 12, I think, people that were there, and they, everyone just, had an opportunity to voice. Well, some of them said there's trash, and some of them said, they oh, my time's up? Because I can keep on. Can I keep on? And the trash and all of these things. And we just came together, and we got brilliant ideas, I feel, sir. And I just, I don't know if anyone else was there other than you, myself and you. But, okay, and there was Miss Marta, and she helped facilitate it. So I just want to know, can we do another workshop, or can that be a continuation for the workshop? Because I can see some goals and some progress being done with that, and get more of the community. And there are grassroots organizations that will come in and help, so we can, I see all the beautification and all of what we want to do. That the homeless is an important, element in our community. So we want to address that, as well as, that's part of the beautification, because you get up off the street, you get them educated and rewired to learn how to live in a community. That also is a suggestion. So I don't want to take up a lot of time, but I just want to see that workshop to continue. I think the time could be a little, I know that probably whoever facilitates it works during the day, and that's overtime, 6 to 8. People are kind of winding down, getting off from work. So I would suggest the time, being it would be an element, and there would be more of a what I said, promotion for the workshop. And I think you'll get a better turnout. And, because I just, I was just amazed how, it did come together, and everybody had their own, ideologies of what can be done. And I think that it could be very helpful for Antelope Valley.
Thank you. And you'll do that, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're working on planning other ones now, in fact.
Okay.
We're going to look at weekends as well.
Ken wasn't passing out fentanyl, was he?
No, sir.
No. Okay.
I
Thank
couldn't
you.
help it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Jason Zink.
In addition to town conferences, or you could do Zoom meetings too, and try to get some more input from the community. The building across the street, the paint's falling off of it. There's a dead tree right next to it, just right across from City Hall. You really do need to hire someone like me, an observation quality control person for the city. The post office down on the boulevard needs to be repainted. That would be a great Art Deco project for the postmaster and the city to do together. We have $48 million just sitting there? No, that's unacceptable. Now, the repaving of our city streets, third world, cracked, potholed streets that we drive on was probably the top priority, I would think, the biggest complaint I hear. Besides,
First of all, the 48 million is not just sitting there, it's invested. It's generating income. And the reason you have a reserve is because bad things do happen. COVID does come along. 2008 does come along and you collapse. The way that the city stays resilient is with that reserve. It also improves our credit, or what do you call that? The
Bond rating.
Our
the
bond rating.
which means we pay much less when we bond things. It's not
I understand
just
that, Mayor.
a pot of money sitting there that needs to be spent. It has great utility.
But my point is, our quality of life is not as good as Santa Clarita Valley or other places. We shouldn't be driving on third world streets. We shouldn't have dead trees all over our city. That's my point. That money is sitting, that money should, I love the idea of an aquatic center, but we have the west side and east side that doesn't have swimming pools. People want to be able to ride their bikes and walk to neighborhood park swimming pools. They don't want everything in one central location. I would tell you that the Parkway Village, you should go to Governor Newsom and say, we want to give you this site or pay for it and create a state university and have the state build the aquatic center. How about something like that?
So you think I should just call the governor and say, build us a university? And he's going to be responsive?
Yes, I think so. You tell them that Antelope Valley needs our own regional economic zone, so we get that $14 million.
Well, we just got 84 for the mental hospital.
That's not an economic budget for our area. Why should we be tied to LA? We have a job imbalance problem. We have 80 to 100,000 commuters. When you were with the speaker, did you tell him about the super commuter opportunity zone to create all of Antelope Valley to be one opportunity zone so we could get all the federal credits?
I just wanted to make sure the country wasn't going bankrupt.
Once the Trump bill passes, there's going to be more sales tax revenue than the city could ever count on. There needs to be a paving crew, weekends, weekdays, and at nights, paving city streets. We should not be driving on these city streets. We need a workforce development board paid for by the state. We're the only area in the state that doesn't have a workforce development board or an economic zone or a California Conservancy or California Job Corps. Why is that? Why are we not in par with the rest of the state? We're the most impacted by the state green policy than any other place in all of the state of California. Our desert has been devastated by solar panels, wind farms, and everything else, and now the hydrogen. So don't you think we should get just compensation? You're an attorney. Can't you make that case to Governor Newsom and D.D. Mayors of Go Biz office that we should have our own economic district, state district, our own conservation district, our own conservancy, our own state workforce board, and a state university? I think that's a great conversation, and you're the man to do it. You're very talented in presenting cases. Make our case to Governor Newsom.
Billions from the state budget. Billions. There is not a lot of excess.
There was a $10 billion education bond measure that just passed for a university for Lancaster. There was $10 billion in the climate bond measure. Do you know there's money in there for a resilience center in there? Did you know that?
Jason?
In the bond measure?
Jason, do you ever see any good stuff? Do you ever see any positive?
I looked at these kids today and I thought that was great. I looked at what you guys are doing. I thought it was great. But I'm so tired of my life going by and seeing the same eyesores that I've seen for 25 years that should be so easily addressed. All the city manager has to do is he can drive with me, or Marvin Christ, or the captain of the police department, or some city staff. Just drive around the city, I'll point everything out, and get it addressed. I'm here to help you guys, I really am. I love Antelope Valley. I was born here. My family came here in 1900, covered wagon.
I appreciate the offer. I appreciate your good intention. I'm just suggesting to you that, there's the sandwich method. You say something good, then you put in the criticism, and then you say something good to sandwich it. People are much more
I've
receptive.
asked Marvin Chris for over 2 years if we could have yellow face signals, traffic signals at 20th Street East and Avenue K and 15th Street and 30th Street on Avenue K. Because there's already been a 16-year-old kid that just died there on 20th and K. It's one of the most deadliest intersections. You're the top man, Marvin.
Oh, no. I thought I was.
Well, he's a workhorse.
Don't mess with me.
Why haven't you done that? If I make a call to you, you should have already had a public works person up there putting yellow face traffic signals up.
We put it together but there's a lot for us to do, not just what you call me for.
People are driving 70 miles an hour down 70 on Avenue K. They look at their cell phone, they go right through the light. You got to have a yellow face traffic light. I've asked you for 2 years, I've asked you to, let's go out to a restaurant, let's go out, drive around the city.
Okay, but we're going to do it.
This is my frustration. Do you understand? Mayor, do you understand?
I do.
Here's somebody trying to do good for the community.
Jason, I do understand what you're saying, but what I'm trying to suggest to you is that, there should be a little bit of balance here. I think we've got the best city staff in the entire country. We certainly have the most innovative city in the entire country.
Then why don't we have our own economic state zone?
I don't know why the governor does what the governor does.
Because I would tell you, AV Edge, why did that guy Drew, he's very educated about what goes on in Sacramento, right? Lackey, Wilk. They should, why haven't they met with D.D. Mears?
I'm just trying to take care of Lancaster.
I know, but why have they met with D.D. Mears from GoBiz?
I don't know.
I'm sure you talked to her about the hydrogen thing. Wouldn't making all of Antelope Valley an opportunity zone with the county, state, and federal zones, wouldn't that help you out with your venture?
There's 100 things that I would like them to do that would help us out.
Just do what I ask. Just do this one thing, what I ask. Make an appointment to go see the governor and D.D. Mears.
What's the one thing you want?
For you to make our case to Governor Newsom and D.D. Mears. That's it.
You do understand me and the governor don't really get along very well.
Yeah, but he wants to run for president. I'm sure he wants to. He's the one that actually wanted to protect Joshua trees. None of our representatives wanted to.
Thank you, Jason.
Here's the address on that house.
Dr. Nicole Blackwood. You have been so patient. Thank you. What?
Good afternoon, Mayor Paris. Good afternoon, esteemed council members, fellow city leaders. My name is Dr. Nicole Blackwood, and I'm grateful for this moment to speak freely about my concern as an 18-year Lancaster resident. But Mayor Paris, I first want to take a moment to honor your legacy and your leadership. Your forward-thinking and innovative approach to both public safety and economic development has undeniably positioned us as a hub of progress and possibility. So I honor not just your office, but the weight of your seat and the reality that public service places your life and your family's life in a fishbowl. That's not easy. And as a fellow business owner and community leader, I do not take that lightly, so thank you. 2 weeks ago, I sat in this very room during the council meeting listening intently to the discussion surrounding social media and whether or not comments should remain open to the general public. That conversation stirred something deeper in me. It made me reflect not only on digital policy, but on the emotional, social, mental, and spiritual climate of our city. I thought, what are we cultivating? What are we communicating, intentionally or unintentionally, to the people of Lancaster? Which brings me to what I must say next. There is a rising concern among many of us about a visible lack of compassion in our city's climate. Certain commentaries, decisions, or public actions, whether intentional or not, have created what feels like a culture of dismissal or indifference rather than empathy. And that matters because I've learned this: when there's a lack of hope, joy suffers. And when joy is missing, strength fades. And when strength is gone, more specifically in Black and brown neighborhoods, communities begin to stall. People lose direction, families lose faith, neighborhoods lose momentum, crime rises, and the list goes on. And when we deny, censor, or withhold compassion, whether through policy or presence, it's like playing a game of whack-a-mole. We might silence one outcry, but then the pain resurfaces elsewhere, just as in a different form, or in a different neighborhood, or a different crisis. I do, however, want to acknowledge the many good efforts underway, like the town halls through the LPD, the initiatives addressing homelessness and mental health, and several other promising strategies that the council has presented. These efforts do matter, but the heartbeat of a city isn't found in its strategy alone. It's in its spirit and in its leadership. And I believe that we can all agree there's a visible and growing sense of hopelessness for the vulnerable in some of our Lancaster communities, not all, but some. And that's why I'm here, as I close, to urge the council to lead, not only with strength and innovation, but also with compassion in full view. Hope is not just a feeling, it's fuel. And when you, Mayor Paris, and council, visibly and verbally express compassion, it gives the entire city permission to breathe, permission to believe and to build. So let us not only build up an ultra-safe city that thrives economically, but one that heals deeply, a place that people can actually call home. The people are watching, and more than anything, they're looking for heart. I know I am. So thank you for your time.
That was beautiful. Thank you. Antelope Valley Resource Conservation District. You don't look like a district.
I don't look like a district. And I was going to say, I'm always excited, so I don't have to do anything, but maybe you want to put a countdown on your clock, so everybody can go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
Just to add to the stress.
Yeah, I just add more stress, right? Hi, for those who don't know, my name is Neil Weisenberger, and I am the president of the Antelope Valley Resource Conservation District. We are a special district that covers from basically the San Bernardino border all the way to Gorman, from Roseman south all the way over the mountains almost to Sillamar, all the way surrounding Santa Clarita. And we've been just this quiet little district out there for years that have supported farmers, Windbreak, Dustbusters Committee, if you remember that committee from years ago. And we're trying to come up and become a little bit more visible in the community, help in the community, and partner in the community. And so, just was mentioned, there's $1 billion out there in the Prop 4 money for habitat restitution. And so there was actually a discussion, I don't know if you've heard about it, I never found out where it was, about a corridor, animal corridor going over the 14 freeway. It wasn't too much of that, but there's actual discussion, there's enough conservation land to probably match San Gabriel to Tehachapi to have a north-south corridor. But there's some opportunities out there for prime desert woodland, for maybe some things that we could even do of growing native plants to repopulate it. We're talking right now, looking into a grant for a monarch butterfly zone that's out there. I think there's things that the city and we could get together to partnership on to do in conservation out there. We've been even discussing things like, should we be collecting, I think we should, collecting native plants and seeds and turning them into hydromix for erosion control that actually contains our native plants, wildflowers, and everything else, instead of plain old grass for erosion control. I think those are things that we can discuss a lot and help each other out. One of our duties that we really...
So why aren't we?
Go ahead.
Why aren't we?
Well, our problem is your budget looks really fantastic. Our budget looks really, really, really bad. So, you know, that's why we haven't had the manpower to go do that. I was sitting there going, we've got a group of volunteers. We could go seed collecting really quickly and do something like that. But again, we'd have to work with city on, you know, this is the hydro seed the city wants that when you're ready to do it.
No, I meant, why aren't we collaborating more?
I don't know, because we were this poor little district that worked with the farmers on windbreak trees, and that was about all we ever did. And that's what I'm saying. I'm on the board, I'm the president now, I'm pushing to say we need to get out and be involved more in the community. And that's why we need the partnership. One of the partnerships that's really good, that you probably don't know about because we just started it, one of our duties is education. So we started on Thursday nights a virtual smart gardening class. So you can tune in on Thursday nights, and like last week was organic gardening, this week's pest control, then we do drip irrigation, fertilizers. We're doing the whole thing, 1 hour, half an hour of questions and answers afterwards, free. All you got to do is Zoom in with us, and we're going to plan to tie it with some on-site, hands-on things as we go along. So, partnership one is you can definitely post this for us.
Yeah,
but,
I'm sure we will do that.
But if you wanted to actually help sponsor it, and put your little logo
Wait a
on
minute,
all
you
of our
got
stuff.
I thought you said you had $1 billion.
Oh, well, that's the grant. If we want to start writing grants, that's fine. We're working on it. But, I mean, I don't know all the opportunities that staff knows that we could do to work
No,
on
I
those.
think you're right. I think that we should definitely be collaborating more. Dana, put that together. I mean, just, do the framework and turn it over to staff to go from there. But I don't want to tie staff up this early.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
absolutely.
So the two of you will get together,
Yep.
and then let's see how we can develop this.
Yes.
I love it.
Yep.
Okay?
That's what I have. Thank you.
Thank you. And we absolutely will.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, we have Derek Winkle, who's actually our outreach coordinator that does the work. I just do the talk.
So why didn't he do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and get up here?
Because I
mean,
do
he's the outreach coordinator.
I do the talk, it's like I'm the.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, great. Okay, it concludes the public comment section. Any comments from the council before we go into closed session?
Yes, I have two, Mayor. The list from the fifth graders was especially long, but I saved us from it. What I told the classes, and I also want to just reemphasize it with the community, is that we have a system called Comcate, and that's a back-end system that you'll find on our Inform Lancaster app, or you can go on our website, and this is a way that you could submit applauses and complaints or concerns, and what it'll do is it'll make it a ticket item. You'll be given a number, and you can track the progress of that item that you submitted. So emails are wonderful, back and forth, emails is great. However, this system is an extra layer of tracking, and that way it creates that list for us, Mayor, to show, hey, these are all the things that we addressed, these are the people that we got back to, these are the people that we still have to get back to. And then I also want to correct the record, and fact check me, Trelise. We have a pool in the east side, and it's our east side pool. And I say that because I swam in high school, so I swam in all the pools in this Antelope Valley. So we do have one there. After the aquatic center, I hope we continue building more pools. But I think the aquatic center is really the next great step for our swimming community. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Of course, you do realize if we didn't have any pools, we wouldn't have any drownings. Just a thought.
I also told the school, the students, to talk to their parents because of the swim lessons we're offering at Eastside Pool.
Good.
So that they'll be ready to go when the aquatic center opens.
That's wonderful. Paul, what was the name of the deputy that was shot? Would you rather not say?
Yeah, I'll speak to you first.
Okay. The reason I was bringing it up is we had a deputy get shot protecting all of us. And the more get well cards and things of that nature that the community sends in, I think would be significant. But I didn't realize there were security issues. We can't tell you his name. What a world we live in, right? I mean, there's something wrong with this world.
Sorry, the mic's not working, but yeah, there's definitely some online concerns.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
There's definitely some online concerns about his safety.
Really? I don't know if people read my comments, but the person who shot him got exactly what he deserved. So, okay. Let him know that he is in our prayers. We are eternally grateful for his sacrifice. It shouldn't have happened. All right.
Before we go into closed session, do you want to?
Oh, where is it? When we closed it? Let's do it when we get back. I'll just do it when we get back. Okay, good. Okay. We are now moving into closed session to discuss the closed session items 1 through 23, which I will not read to you now.
As stated on the agenda.
Great. Thank you for coming. We'll be back in a while. And if you want to get your Vegas nerve device, they're Amazon.com.
Water that dead tree.
Well, I'm going to open this one.
And we're back. City Attorney, if you could,
Make my announcement? All right. In closed session, the city council took up closed session agenda items 1, 9, and 13 and gave direction to staff and legal counsel. No reportable action.
thank you. Before we close today's meeting, we pause to recognize and remember a remarkable member of our community, Allison Catlin, a longtime journalist with the Antelope Valley Press who passed away last month. Allison was a trusted voice in the Antelope Valley. She reported on everything from government and healthcare to water and environmental quality. But her true passion was aerospace. And in that world, she was deeply respected, whether covering the latest advancements in private spaceflight or capturing the stories of aviation legends. Allison brought clarity, care, and accuracy to every assignment. Her work earned her admiration not just from her peers, but from the very engineers, scientists, and pilots she covered. As many of her colleagues have stated, Allison could do it all, and she did it with grace, humility, and a genuine love for this community. We extend our condolences to her friends, family, and everyone at the Antelope Valley Press. Today we close in her honor and memory. Thank you, Allison, for telling the stories of our valley with heart and truth. You will be missed. The next meeting is scheduled Tuesday, June 24, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. The meeting is adjourned.